What's going on, gamers? Hopefully everyone's world is going pretty good. Definitely if you're gaming, right? So we got another headline post here, kind of like trying to basically throw shots at Sony ending disc, which, okay, sure. We know the update last night with the sticker on the box, kind of funny, basically giving people the middle finger in the PlayStation world. Well, this post right here is saying, it's a rumor, but a lot of people are saying they think this is going to happen, is Xbox is going to promise 5 generations of backwards compatibility as Sony ends disc. I'm like, 5 generations? So you have original Xbox, you got 360, you have Xbox One and Series. That's 4 generations. I'm like, where's the 5th generation coming from? Now from PlayStation, I'm like, okay, PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, and then going to PlayStation 6. That's 5 generations, right? So it says a leaked Microsoft memo reveals the next Xbox could play games from all 5 generations, including physical disc, right? So let's stop right here. Guys, where does 5 generations come from, though? Yeah, I'm not getting that. There's only been 4 Xbox generations. Like I said, original, 360, Xbox One, and Series SX. And even then, the Series X generation is mediocre. You had Xbox original, 360, and Xbox One, which was also mediocre. Backwards compatibility support with physical this whole time. It didn't do anything for you. I don't get why people think that just because Sony wants to just go full villain in their world, that this somehow is going to make Xbox get some type of boost. I've said this before, that it is just not going to happen and nobody's going to care. The least supported game generation is the Xbox Series S and X generation. You never bought any physical copies. They put codes in the boxes. You all bought a Series S, 77% of you. You all went on Game Pass since Xbox One era. So what are you talking about? Nobody in that world supports that. It's kind of pointless to me. But if you want to believe that that's going to do something, by all means, go ahead. But I think it ain't going to move the needle and nobody's going to care because nobody buys physical games like that except in the Nintendo world and partially in the PlayStation world. And that's majorly third party. So I'm thinking about Xbox games. I'm like, who wants to do that? Why do you think they're coming out with the Positron system? So you're saying that you're going to promise 5 generations of backwards compatibility? It's like saying somebody's going to be interested in Xbox's library. What? Halo Master Chief Collection has been there. That was it. Call of Duty, that's everywhere. Here's a War, that's everywhere. That's kind of like already there. It's not going to do anything. Nobody cares about that anymore. That stuff kind of died off. So all the other stuff is like niche stuff that nobody really cares. And once again, Xbox fanboys are going to get butthurt because I'm just telling the truth. And I'm like, this is not going to mean anything. So exciting fans who cherish their collections, that's cool. Nothing wrong with that. Meanwhile, Sony announced in early July that new PlayStation games will go digital only starting in 2028 January. They also updated that last night. If you guys didn't know, Sony now has stickers on the PlayStation 5 consoles that are shipping in stores, basically telling you get ready. Yeah, if you got that disc drive that added on to PlayStation 5 Pro, if you have a PS5 disc model, they're going to render any games that are launching on that cross-gen after 2028 null and void. Ridiculous, right? And as I said before, outside of that, though, it's been live, full in effect in the Xbox world. You go on PC, that's not happening on the Xbox app internet. There's no physical. They've been trying to push that. They've been trying to push the cloud. They've been trying to push stuff on TVs. They've been trying to push stuff on cell phones. They've been trying to push you to get on Game Pass 24/7 and put that everywhere. They've been trying to get you to get the Series S over the X because that was the most supplied. Like Sony supplied mostly the disc models for PS5. So that's why I say what I always say again, no solution for physical preservation is in the Xbox world. You can't get PlayStation games. Those games that never came to Xbox are never going to. They only came to Steam. So how are you going to get that if there's no physical for them? You see what I mean? It has to be on the PlayStation 5 console or the PlayStation 4. You're not getting any of those PlayStation exclusives. Sony has never put any of those games on Xbox. That's only in the PC world, and that's on Steam where they're digital only. So that's why I'm trying to tell PlayStation fanboys that are like that in the physical medium, how are you going to get those PlayStation first-party games? They only exist in the PlayStation world, and they never came to the Xbox ecosystem. They came to the Steam ecosystem. That's not Xbox. That's only on PC. And Steam does not have a disk drive. You see what I mean? Like, what are we doing here? Your only solution to get physical preservation outside of the PlayStation is in the Nintendo world. I say this, and I will say it again in multiple videos. Like, that's the only alternative solution. Xbox is not a solution to physical. Matt Piscatella said the same thing. I don't know what you guys are thinking, but it ain't there. Their physical support is dead in the water. Nobody supports physical in the Xbox world. Don't be hypocrites. So that's why I say announcing this is pointless, because it's not going to do anything. That's what I'm trying to tell people. I'm like, I don't get what you're saying. Because even also too, if those developers, which know they get most of their sales on PlayStation, and then Steam and Nintendo are going to tell you, I'm not doing no physical, it's going to be a code in the box. What does it matter if you go to a platform that is telling you something, but they're telling you they're not, they're going to put a code in the box? Or if you get that disc, you better have to be online. It doesn't matter. It doesn't change anything. You see, the problem here is that if all third-party publishers, like Rockstar, for example, you can say all you want, you're not going to get a disc. It doesn't matter where you go. The closest thing you're going to get actually is if Rockstar announces GTA 6 for the Switch 2 and Nintendo says, here's a key card. At least that's somewhat like a physical. Instead of getting a code in the box, you'll still be able to move that around and share with people. You see what I mean? Only in the Nintendo world is anything going to be left in that medium. Because if all those publishers align with PlayStation, which the majority of them are going to, Capcom said the same thing recently. Hey, 90-something% of our sales are now digital. If we abandon physical, we're not worried about that because we're not affected. They said it. It's right here. Capcom digital. I'm just going to tell you right now, like, Capcom says 90% of its unit sales are digital and does not anticipate a significant impact to its business from the shrinking physical games market. It's not bothered by it. All these companies are saying that, they're not lying to you, and Capcom is not no anti-consumer company. They're an amazing gaming company. So all of them are saying it. You could do whatever you want, but it's not going to affect us if you want to go digital only. Watch the companies that do key cards on the Switch 2. I'm telling you, that's the company that's not going to be doing disc, and a lot of them were doing that. They're all about the profit, just like everybody else. So if you're thinking this is going to change anything, you can go down here. You can go down here too. You know what people are going to say? It was almost impossible to find RE9 and Pragmatic for weeks on disc for PlayStation 5, but okay, Capcom, because they're not doing it. So what does it matter if you're a third-party person, but all of them are doing the same thing? See, PlayStation had to move that medium. In Nintendo world, you still have a key card, at least, which is not a code in a box. See? And Microsoft knows this. They're just playing games with you. Citing the rise in digital purchases, gamers are debating ownership and format preferences, with some praising Xbox's potential edge, and others noting discs still need downloads like digital copies. Yeah, okay, here's another story. Sony announced that, and then the Halo company, who's, by the way, getting laid off now, told you that you can get a disc now in a box. But then it tells you on there, you're going to need to get online to get a download. Not only that, you got to sign into an Xbox Live account if you're on PlayStation or outside of the Xbox ecosystem. What is the point of the disc then? What if all servers went offline and somebody had a physical copy on Halo and they finally opened it? They would not be able to play it. See? In order for physical preservation to actually work, it must be like in the Nintendo world. If I went and got a physical card in the Nintendo world, I don't need to go online ever. That does not work in the Xbox world. You saw what happened when the Xbox servers went offline. Your physical games were being affected. Your digital libraries were null and void. This is not saying anything against this, but all I'm saying is that Xbox backwards compatibility is not Nintendo nostalgia. And it's not even PlayStation nostalgia. Nobody cares. It never did anything for them. They've had that going for a while, but it didn't sell any Series X, S consoles like that. Like, oh, I can't wait to get a Series S and an Xbox Series X so I can play older Xbox games in the 360. It's like, nobody cares, man. Like, it's not a huge medium. It's very, very, very niche. And then they knew that, so that's why they moved it off of the consoles, which used to be an exclusive aspect, and they moved it into the PC. Now PC is getting Xbox Original, and they're working on 360 by that time, which is going to take some time. What you're going to get in the Xbox One era. You see what I'm saying? That's already on Game Pass. It's already there. And you were on Game Pass the whole time. Nobody plays games on Game Pass. Nobody cares. They already played those games. What are you going to give them, some overcoded little extra resolution? Nobody wants to play them. If I don't want to play a game, I don't care how much you upgrade the resolution and try to make it look a little bit glaring. I'm not interested. That's the problem in the Xbox world. All this stuff you think is going to do something is literally pointless and powerless. I hate to say it, but that's how diluted this brand is. Nobody cares. This is just all a bunch of overgloated nonsense on here. And then you see stuff like this. Yes, lock the F in. Microsoft include a disk drive too. Dethrone Sony. Lock in. It's like, please be quiet. It's not going to do anything. And I keep on having to say this because this is something else that popped up 3 hours ago. So if you get this in the Xbox world and you're happy with that, I'm not beating that down. All I'm saying is I'm trying to show you it in the grand scheme of things, that it is under a 5% movement difference, even lower than that. They're not going to get much from this. And that some of this stuff on Twitter is fake, botted, paid for, and manipulated. Remember this. AGN, all he's doing is telling you the truth. But the thing is, you ever watch that movie with Jack Nicholson when he yelled very loud, you can't handle the truth? Because the truth hurts people's feelings and they run into a fantasy and they want to cope on the lie. I said, but the lie's not real. It's not working. It doesn't happen. And when all this stuff happens, watch when you see how dead those cells are. Then you're going to be like, man, I thought this was going to do something. You thought that, but AGN told you that no matter what Microsoft does, Xbox hardware is not going to sell anymore. And that it's pretty much toast. And all this stuff does not matter. They're just looking for angles. So it's all right here. So this guy says, ironically, all-in-one Xbox console. And it's like, but what is the Series X? It supports original Xbox, 360, and Xbox One. It does the same thing. But what did that do? You had no exclusives at launch. People told you why they buy consoles. What was their biggest reason for buying them? You destroyed your mascot, Master Chief. It's in the water. All the things that you had besides Forza has went into the grave. And then you monopolized to spend $100 billion to get Call of Duty, to get all those games on Game Pass, to get Bethesda, and monopolize all those studios, and no growth happened. If you don't see that sign, that just means that is a dark sinkhole that cannot turn into light. I don't believe there's no hope for Xbox hardware. I believe there's hope for Xbox publishing. And if somebody got me in a business room, I'd be telling them the same thing. You want me to be honest with you? Get rid of your Xbox hardware. Don't pay attention to them. They're a bunch of cultists that you have brainwashed. And they're not smart enough to wake up from that. They'll keep defending you no matter how bad you dump on them. And you know how some of these sheep are. You want me to tell you the truth? And let's just pull down the curtain and grab the Wizard of Oz by his hair and tell him just get out of here in the Xbox world? Get rid of your hardware and focus on publishing. What's the point at this moment? I don't see the point anymore. You're not going to be able to compete anymore. Phil Spencer knew this. At least he was smart enough to realize that. The CEO, Asha Sharma, is literally distracting you 24/7. And you're making her another cult idol. And it's bad. And that's how sad it is in your world. That's why you have content creators. Actually, well, that's why you have Xbox content creators that are just embarrassing as a content creator because the position that they have is very bad. I'm not going to say the Lamester guy is some Xbox content creator because to me, he's just a loser that harasses people, that defends Microsoft's anti-consumer behavior. I don't consider him really a content creator. He's not really that smart. But like when I look at people like Colt Eastwood and them, it's like he kind of has to do that because that's what you have to be in the Xbox world. And he's actually a nice guy. He's not even a rude person. He supported my channel one time when I was doing Xbox content. I found him to be actually a cool guy. I didn't have a problem with him. I thought, oh no, it's Alex was a funny guy too, because I know he liked Xbox and he was a PC guy and he had a problem with Nintendo and PlayStation. I never had a true problem with him. I know Frit. You could take a look at certain people's channel. You'd be like, these are people that really liked, like, you know, the masculine shooter era. They liked Xbox. They have a problem with Nintendo. They have a problem with PlayStation. They're PC, Steam, Xbox guys. Like, but they're funny, cool people, but they're not like dumb or anything. And they push a certain format because, like, when you look at certain people's channels, I'm like, damn, you guys be smoking Nintendo and you be smoking PlayStation, but you'll have like a Phil Spencer idol thing, a Asha idol thing. You know what I mean? A Gabe idol thing. Sometimes they may do that for certain other things, but it's like you can kind of tell that that's the algorithm they're pushing. They do a good job with it, and YouTube actually supports it because from an American standpoint, I guess Xbox is an American identity, right? Well, yeah, it would be nice to have a strong identity, but they just don't have it. And Japan is dominating in that spectrum. And I'm an honest person. I give credit where it's actually due. You see what I'm saying? I could take a look at some of these channels and I'm like, okay, like I'll take a look at MBG's channel. He used to be an Xbox guy, but now he's a PlayStation guy and he pushes that algorithm. Though I think that he's pretty genuine. I like him. Like, you know, Porter Rock, he's a PlayStation guy. You could take a look at certain people's channel, like Dreamcast guy, he does a lot of stuff. But before, we know he was doing PlayStation stuff. But if you actually take a look at his channel, he makes positive and negative PlayStation videos. Same thing with Xbox. But for some reason, when he slams Xbox, certain people just can't handle it. But it's all okay if it's on PlayStation. And that's why I say that some of you are polarized, because AGN's channel has done positive and critical analysis and soft farming for PlayStation worlds and Xbox worlds, Nintendo worlds, and PC worlds. I've covered all and I've criticized all. Nintendo the less because they don't have negative news like that. It's mostly going to be in the Xbox and PlayStation world more than any world. And then Valve recently coming out because of the Steam Deck price and the Steam Machine price and just some of the stuff they get sued for. But other than that, PlayStation and Xbox, definitely in the Xbox world, you can get 100 negative articles in 2 months. I'm not joking. Like, it's really bad. Where Sony will come out and do something very villainous, and that one topic will last a while, like the disc thing. But Xbox will get you with 30 articles in 1 month. And it's like, damn, man. And 10 talking interviews and all different people talking in multiple different angles. And it's like, so why do you cover so much Xbox? Because look, they talk the most and they have the most problems. So that's where I'm at. Right? That's why I do what I do, because it's like, if I'm covering gaming, where is the most issues at? Over here in the Xbox world? Let's not say it is it. You know what I mean? Nintendo don't have that many problems. They're not like that. They don't do all the ridiculous layoffs, $1 trillion company pushing AI. Like, Microsoft not only just has a lot of gaming negative news, but they have a lot of negative Windows 11 news. Like, just so many facets if you think about it. It's really bad. So it's like, if we're covering that, it's because it's called constructive criticism. That's what somebody would want as far as a business for community feedback and just in general. Like, what can we do to improve? Not people who can't see any of that and only just glaze. It's like, you have the lowest intelligence because you're not going to help the company improve. They would just keep going like that and nothing would get better. Then how's that improving as a business? How would your fiscal results get better? Harshness has to happen. And sometimes the truth is harsh, but it does not care about your feelings because it's not an emotional thing. That's where growth happens at. And that's what AGN does. Obviously, there's a lot of grifting on YouTube. It's very serious in hitting algorithms and titles for the machine learning AI bot that if you hit it right, it'll just boost you straight up. If not, then you just didn't hit the algorithm. Or you got headlines on Twitter, like right down over here while I'm moving the mouse, because this is the stuff that's also going to hit harder on YouTube, and they all combine together, and Google knows, because what I and Google does not see everything, right? With their HTTP system and all that. It's like, man, I can go on all day about this, but the thing here is that you can kind of see how certain mediums work. Sometimes it's not about the truth. That's a sad thing, but that's just the way the grifting in this world is. And the grifter will not be nowhere near as intelligent as somebody like me, but they'll take that and use it and magnify it and manipulate it. That's what grifters do. AGN's not no grifter, but I know how to hit certain headlines, though, because I know how this world works, and that's how sometimes things work. So sometimes people think about he's grifting. It's like, nah, not necessarily, bro. It's just the way that this world works, and it's annoying. But I'm all about the truth. So other than that, just giving you guys an explanation about my content. Yeah, sometimes I get heated, but guess what? This is entertainment, too. Do you really think I'm like offline having struggles and issues? Though obviously, you know, certain things happen in my life, but it's like, no, my life is pretty good. And life is great, and I'm a happy person. But other than that, yeah, I mean, if you want to like the Xbox, you really think I care? Like it's bothering me? I don't. I'm just doing what I need to do when I get on the camera from my end. But other than that, keep on gaming no matter what platform you're on. Later, y'all. Peace and love.